Welcome back, everybody. Pro Wrestling Experience here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. We do have our special guest for today, Ring of Honor wrestler, perfect time of the week and the year to call our next guest here, Moose from Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor returns to Chicago for the Reloaded tour at the Frontier Fieldhouse this Saturday. Moose, how's it going today?
I'm doing well, man. Everything is good. Can't wait to get in town so I could perform in front of a live Chicago crowd.
Speaking of transitioning from like different NFL crowds to wrestling towns, now you've been part of Ring of Honor for over a year now, and is this your first time coming to Chicago? And if not, how do you describe a Chicago-based wrestling crowd?
Oh man, I don't know. This will be my first time in Chicago. The only thing I know about Chicago is when I used to watch Raw when CM Punk was there. And I know CM Punk is from there, and I know Chicago loves him. And that's all I know about Chicago, so I'm kind of excited to making my debut in Chicago and wrestle in front of that crowd.
You're taking on Jay Lethal on Saturday. Tell us what fans can expect to see from you if this is their first time seeing Moose in action.
Oh, man, I'm going to try my best to give him my best performance yet. A lot of people don't know this, but Jay Lethal is one of the guys that when I first got into Ring of Honor, he helped me out a lot. Real good buddy of mine, even though I don't really agree with where he's going right now in Ring of Honor with the crowd he's hanging out with, being the House of Truth. I do have a lot of respect for him, and and I can't wait to wrestle him.
How would you describe your experience so far in Ring of Honor? You got very fast transition. You train with Mr. Hughes. You're alongside Stokely Halfway, another former guest of the show, a great guy. Tell us about your experience in Ring of Honor and how you feel you've been progressing so far in your wrestling career.
I think it's going well so far. I'm just trying to get better every time I step in the ring, and that's pretty much it, man. I feel like if I keep getting better, the sky's the limit for me. So Sweet. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. And Saturday, I get to prove how good I am stepping in the ring against in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world right now.
Tell us a little bit about your story in the past as a wrestling fan. Did you watch when you were little, or when was the first time you saw wrestling?
The first time I saw wrestling was in 1992. Actually, the first one I saw was a pay-per-view. It was a 92 Royal Rumble, I believe. And ever since then, I became a huge fan. And shortly after that, I decided I wanted to do it after I saw Razor Ramon wrestle. I was a big Razor Ramon fan, and that's when I decided I wanted to be a wrestler. I think that was kind of like in 95, maybe. But the first time I actually watched a wrestling match was the 92 Royal Rumble when Ric Flair won it all.
Nice. That's a great Rumble. Do you got the network? Do you watch other wrestling shows, or is it just Ring of Honor?
Oh, can you repeat the question? I couldn't really hear you.
Do you got the network? Do you watch any other wrestling shows on your downtime, or is it just Ring of Honor?
Oh, man, I'm a fan of wrestling, so I try to watch everything. One of my best friends wrestles actually NXT, Apollo Crews, so every time I get a chance to see him work, I tune into NXT. So I'm just a big fan of wrestling, so I watch everything. I'll be quite honest, I haven't watched Raw in months just because of my schedule and things I'm obligated to do here in Georgia, so it kind of takes away from me watching Raw. But usually I try to stay in tune with like all the pay-per-views, and I definitely do watch Ring of Honor to see what I could learn from some of the guys on our roster, and sometimes even scouting if I have a matchup against them.
We're talking to Ring of Honor's wrestler Moose, right down there in the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. You check out Ring of Honor on Destination America every Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Central Time, which would be 11 in the East Coast. Let's go into a little bit about football. I seen a lot of your games. I was a big Atlanta Falcons fan a couple of years ago, but decided to move on. But you play with the Patriots, you play with the Rams, the Colts. Tell us a little bit about your experience with football, and how would you compare training for a football game as compared to training for a wrestling match?
It's totally different. I mean, football is more of a team. It's definitely a team sport. So the trainings are probably a little bit more intense, a little bit more focused than football. But I'm not saying that you don't need the same intensity and focus in wrestling. It's just you get a little bit more of that aspect in the football world. So the intensity is quite different, but fun at the same time.
So you trained with Mr. Hughes, right?
Mr. Hughes, one of the guys I trained with coming up. I also trained with Scott Demore and Tyson Dukes down in Windsor, Ontario, and did some stuff with Scott Hall and his son. And I've been all over the place,
nice.
But mainly Mr. Hughes.
Nice. So you're alongside with Stokely Hathaway. You've been on a roll for the past couple of years now with Ring of Honor. Tell us about your partnership with Stokely and how has he helped you in your career so far?
Oh man, that's one of my best buddies. He gives me a lot of information I need with my opponents, and a lot of people think he's my manager. When we don't, I wouldn't even say he's a manager. He's more of a friend. I call him. He's my best friend. So I'm grateful to have him in my corner every match every time I step into the ring. And he's great.
Super Bowl 50 is this year. It's crazy. It's Super Bowl 50 now. It's going to be in Santa Clara.
Right.
So if you had a prediction as far as which matchup you would like to see for Super Bowl 50, what would it be?
Oh, man. Obviously, I'm going to be a little bit biased here. I would say from the NFC, the Falcons, and from the AFC, the Patriots.
The Patriots are a pretty good heel now these days, huh?
Yeah, right. I mean, and you said it 100% right. They are like the biggest heels in the NFL right now. Everybody hates them. I don't know why. But it's great, though. It's great. I love it.
It seems like they are America's new team. I don't think it's the Cowboys anymore. That's passe. But
yeah, maybe in the 90s you could say the Cowboys was, but definitely in 2000 it's definitely the Patriots.
Speaking of that, do you think Roger Goodell's helping or hurting his cause as commissioner? Because it's more about what's going on outside the field over the past couple of years than it is on the field. It's kind of sad.
Man, I hate to speak negativity on somebody, but I honestly feel like he's probably going to get fired soon. I mean, that's just my opinion, especially with the thing with Ray Rice and how he handled it. And now you have this situation with the Deflategate and how he handled that situation. It's not looking too good right now.
Atlanta Hawks finished first in the Eastern Conference last year. Didn't end well. Do you think they got a chance to rebound this year, or do you think it's the Cavaliers' conference?
Man, in basketball, I'm actually a big New York Knicks fan, but since you asked me about the Hawks, I really don't like the Hawks basketball. And I know that sucks because I live here and I've been here for like the past 10 years in Atlanta, that is. But I really don't like the Hawks. I mean, the Hawks basketball is not appealing to me. So right now, I heard rumors that the Knicks was trying to get Kevin Durant and Kobe. So I hope that happens. So that will give me a reason to move to New York. I think that the Cavs have got a lock right now in the East.
One more sports question before we go back to wrestling. So you played for a couple years in the NFL and you had your experience. What would you say was your defining moment in your NFL career?
I would guess my first. I don't know if it was my first start, but it was a start I had against. I would say the Buffalo Bills in 2009, and I was playing against I can't even think of the name, but I know he was one of the best defensive tackles in the league right now. I was starting at right guard, and I shut him out and kicked his ass. So I would say that was it for me.
Cool. So, what will you say is your goals here as 2015 is about to wrap up? Are you looking towards to getting the title, or you just feel like you're trying to perfect your game as the months go by?
I'm definitely winning the title. Something is a goal I've had ever since I stepped into Ring of Honor. And it doesn't matter. Obviously, it will be the world title I'll be chasing after, but I mean, I will also be happy winning the TV title. I just want a Ring of Honor title on my waist before the year is over, or even in the new year, whenever. But that's definitely a goal, and I think I'm getting pretty close to that goal, especially with the match I have in Chicago against Jay Lethal.
Will Saturday be your best match in your career? Because it's kind of early to say what's your favorite match so far, but I'm sure this Saturday will be up there for you, right?
Oh, definitely.
Nice. So Ring of Honor comes back to Chicago on Saturday, September 12th at the Frontier Fieldhouse. You can follow Moose at Moose Nation 69. Moose, thanks so much for coming on the show today, man. I had a lot of fun, and I'd love to do this again.
Thank you, man.